wish I was a rocking chair. I could be so comfortable then. My lap bowed with grace to receive whatever ass wanted to plop itself onto me, like the Great Mother or the earth itself. Or a refrigerator, useful and cold, and don't unplug me, sucker. I'll rot every vegetable you put in my tray. Or I might be the little stepladder beside the bed with the phone on top, black and white, no hint of gray, thank you. I am utile, not bad to look at either. I can hold the phone. Oh, I have aspirations aplenty. Rocking chair, refrigerator, stepladder, anything but me, for God's sake, because me ain't doing so good today. Today, me is praying like hell to be an object next time around, something with a hard edge. Not a pillow, if you please. Something with an edge, parameters, a known quantity. Next time, I want to be an object, and not just a woman who is treated like one.
The proposal. It used to be that women accepted rings and the oppression of the institution of marriage in exchange for security. And don't get me wrong, women still do that today. But the type of security we're looking for is much different than it used to be. I don't need a husband to pay the bills and put food on the table because I can do that for myself. You see, I got myself an education and a place in the workforce. I get a paycheck every month, so put your wallet away. And I don't need a husband to tell me how to vote on the retention of judges, or which candidate to elect for president, or how the nation's budget should be readjusted to align with my priorities, because again, I got myself an education and can think just fine for myself. And I don't need a husband that's strong and can fix anything, because I have muscles to lift the heavy boxes and unscrew the lids to pickle jars, and for anything my education can't figure out, there's Google. So what exactly do I need a husband for? What about my seed? I'd like to sow it in 1,000 kids, but they tell me I'm not the seed but the land. Fertile I may be, but nothing grows without a he, so I have to let his seed grow on me. What about my garden? I spent all day pruning the bushes and shaping the hedges, planting the flowers and watering the vegetables. Who takes care of the weeds? And what about the dishes? I can feed myself just fine, but no one ever taught me how to cook for just one. And it's too much to come home every day and make myself casseroles and steaks without someone else cleaning up the plates that pile up day after day. My strong hands aren't dainty enough to handle the fine china. And what about the bed? It takes 2 to make and 2 break, and my closet's too big for 1 set of clothes. That double sink in my bathroom sits empty because I can only use one. And the mirror is never filled with tiny little toothpaste flecks, so I don't bother to clean it anymore. And what about me? I'm cold at night, and it's not that type of cold more blankets can cure. I've tried that electric one, but when I turned it on high, it burned a hole right through the blanket. I need the heat of another body right next to me. And what about my legacy? I can take care of a child on my own, but it takes 2 to make. And when I need to travel for work or want to hang out with my friends, I can't just leave it alone. Sure, they're her babysitters or my mother, but wouldn't a father who knows when bedtime is and which is the favorite stuffed animal and won't lie about eating dessert before supper just be nice? And wouldn't it be nice to have someone there to teach it how to use the dustpan without leaving that little line at the end, or how to properly fill the dishwasher, or to remember to turn off all the lights before getting into bed? Be nice, because those are things I just cannot do. So get down on your knee and ask me your question, and I'll accept your ring.
Let's forget written language and live in a commune. Let's dance naked to celebrate the sunrise. Let's build a bonfire and cavort under the moon. Let's light candles and paint those intricate Russian Easter egg icons. We'll run like wild hamsters in heat. Then we'll sleep until we have dreamed a whole new life, in which we see Elvis riding carnival rides with Jimmy Hoffa until dawn, and the Ku Klux Klan walk the fairgrounds wearing rainbow hoods and getting signatures on a petition for the one world government. Let's frolic with ferrets on horseback and eat big oatmeal raisin cookies. We'll sing out-of-tune renditions of old Bing Crosby tunes. We'll swing on a moonbeam and carry some stars home in a jar. We'll play Tai Chi, karate, football, golf. A new game that's taken Hong Kong by storm, but can be somewhat tiring when played in the view. Otherwise, it's a hoot. Afterwards, we put the cats back into the suitcase, roll up the street at midnight, quiet as the total lack of sound, in a vacuum tube. Hurtling through space, we unwrapped the untapped resources of the 35th planet that we picked up for a song, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, while shopping the Millennium Sale in Target Jupiter. And finally, we put on our super retro Lost in Space PJs and climbed in our specially designed space shuttle bed and read Goodnight Moon in stereo, surround sound, video pictures dance on the ceiling. Good night, house.
Good night, house.
Justified confusion, a friend's experience. When I was 9 and barely adapted to this new country that my folks selected, while at a party having fun aplenty, something happened that will forever change me. My only living uncle and both my parents were all killed in a car crash in an instant. My parents had no money or insurance to justify the need for my deliverance from poverty or wretched destitution, so foster homes became the state's solution. This awful, unfair crossroad in my life began a journey filled with hate and strife. Resentment filled my heart at this young age as I was racked with muddled rage. My difficult demeanor insurrections created many family selections, each most religious in their unique way, inflicting each one's faith and how to pray. Each tried to tame my demons so pronounced, with heartfelt good intentions I renounced. Each new religion had unique dynamics. I'm sure some came from other distant planets, because the ardent faith each was espousing, compared to its forerunner, was confusing. The diverse dogma my faith quickly shook, since it all came from the same holy book. I was raised by Baptists, broad-minded Methodists, Christian Scientists, strong Roman Catholics. The Lutherans taught me the Catholics' failings, so did the beliefs of the Episcopalians. Evangelicals, their faith and grace professed, as did God's chosen Jehovah's Witnesses. Each family professed the only true religion, which only gave access to God's eternal kingdom. I got baptized, anointed, dunked, and splashed, sprinkled, and dipped with great panache. I received in every faith I professed, which should have assured my eternal rest, but these multiple blessings just muddled my psyche, creating religious confusion within me. I tried this upsetting dilemma to mention, but nobody wanted to pay attention. Religious adults don't listen, you see, to the insights of kids that could set them free. I attended communicus classes religiously, read countless scriptures, said prayers with my rosary. I suffered guilt for inherited sin, did penance often for thoughts within. I learned to hate folks of cruel intentions, making Hitler one name safe to mention. I learned to hate badness and its effects, was taught bad companions can sin beget. So avoided folks living sinfully, which meant that they also avoided me. I fasted at Easter, repented of sin, at bingo asked God to help me win. I attended religious dinners and luncheons in hope some of this would bring redemption. But alas, found out my erroneous thinking to fear and judgment would soon be linking. If I didn't comply with each God's edicts, my obvious outcome they each could predict. For instance, I could solely be judged as a Satan worshipper, or die at Armageddon as a hateful idolater. I could burn in hell, it was frequently mentioned. I could miss the rapture, or relinquish redemption. I couldn't decide which of these was worse, but by one I knew I would surely be cursed, which made me think about Hitler's sin, and wondered which judgment would come to him. My bird's-eye view of this spiritual system revealed to me many gods in action, creating in me great anguish and fear, in case to me they in anger drew near. For although each god was both loving and caring, they each practiced righteous judgment and killing. I worried about the results they would offer if they chose to declare a war on each other. Each family was firm in my obligation to practice their faith without hesitation. If I didn't please God and stop acting erratically, I would surely be judged, I was told emphatically. When I asked which God was the best to obey, I got cuffed on the ear to my dismay. No one could see my relevant confusion from what I saw as religious delusion. Why would these gods, so all-knowing and wise, so many religions for worship devise, seem more to me like a human mentality creating worship of these awesome deities? The joy of joys, I was finally fostered by a family where my soul could prosper. They were pure fresh air and a miracle with no religion that I could tell. Their God personified love, unconditional, which from my experience was not traditional. We spent time camping and being outdoors, canoeing, hiking, and watching stars. We lay on the ground, missed the campfire's mystery, to let our hearts beat with Gaia's energy. We all hugged trees and each gathered our share of other folks' trash who forgot to care. We helped our neighbor and shared with friends. With misunderstandings, we made amends. Sought insight into others' behavior, burned love incense in the dreaded name of Hitler. I marveled at how the living of love needed no commandments or ritual stuff, no memorized verses or pleading prayers, just an open heart, making each awares. My response to this was instant acceptance like nothing previous in my existence. My rebellious anger no longer was needed. Unconditional love, everything preceded. I came to recognize unique perspectives created by the power of learned directives from parents, friends, and society, from the DNA triggers in you and me, and learned acceptance of other folk for the unique journeys we each must walk, which include beliefs about many concepts that to them seem sane but to us seem nonsense, which gave me insight to why folks select such different religions their lives to direct. If I were God and observing history, I would understand this religious mystery, producing divisions, fear, and hate, instead of the love I chose to create. If I were God, I would clearly see how static dogma came to be, from powerful leaders' consternation and fear of losing their congregations. For truth is never static, unchanging, but answers questions our faith rearranging, as human consciousness evolves to shed more light on searching souls. If I were God, I would patient be with this confusion so plain to see, aware that soon, in a future day, my love will be the only way.
2 days before Thanksgiving, I stand on the sidewalk in front of Zabar's and watch the hearse pass by bearing the deceased. And all the cars in procession have headlights on, the custom. I shiver. My package is suddenly a burden, the cold piercing my thin coat and caught somehow in my own death. I shiver. The cold pierces my coat. My packages are a burden. I want to run. What stops me? Today, the late afternoon light is dim. The radiator sputters its offering. Outside, the wind is blustery. I see brick and windows across the street. Things congeal. The life is cold in me, unmoving, stuck. Where is it? The life I struggle with today is cold in me like the winter wind outside. Spirit wind. Outside my window, the moon rises on the far horizon. The moon moves with me on my night journey. I swim silent and safe. See myself reflected in the moon's face. The great mother heals the wound. She holds me in high esteem. From slim to full, her phases show me the shape of a day or a life. Start small and young and yelling in the cradle and rock to round, full expression across the nighttime sky, safe in her reflection, patient, permanent. Should I forget her by day? Distracted by the sameness of the sun, the ocean's roar reminds me, her tide rising and falling, ever in motion, making her mark, then moving on. I am here. I am gone.